Hi, in this video let's look at two examples of using SOH CAH TOA. As you may recall, SOH CAH TOA stands for the sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's look at two examples of how to use these ratios. The first one is we have a flag that is attached to a flagpole. The rope makes 30 degrees with the ground and is attached 10 foot from the base of the pole. How tall is the pole? So here is the diagram of a flag, and let's scroll up. So here is our flag, and it's an international flag. They all say the same thing: we are the best, every country. So no matter where you are, that's what they all believe. So this is everybody's flag. Now, how tall is the pole? Well, let's put the information in the picture. So the rope makes 30 degrees. Well, that makes 30 degrees here. The pole is assuming to be perpendicular to the ground, and so this would be 90 degrees. And then it is attached 10 foot away from the base. So that means this side is 10 foot. And the question is, how tall is the pole? So with that information, which one of the three functions connects the opposite side with adjacent and the angle? Well, you looking at our SOH CAH TOA, that would be tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So if we use a tangent, we have all the information to figure out how tall is the pole. So let's look at that. Let's use that. So that means that tangent of 30 degrees is the opposite over adjacent. Now, tangent of 30 degrees is a number. It's just a decimal. Later in a different video, we will look at how to figure out what the tangent of 30 degrees is by hand and how to do it exactly without any approximations. But for now, let's just use the calculator to do that. And when we use the calculator, here's the calculator, we notice that our calculator has our three trigonometric functions: sine, cosine, tangent, but there is no buttons for the secant, cosecant, and cotangent, because each one of those can be made using the original three. The cosecant is 1 over sine, secant is 1 over cosine, and cotangent is 1 over tangent. So instead of having 3 more buttons, we can always just use 1 over cosine, sine, or tangent to get the other 3. Now, before we type in, so here's tangent of 30. But we have to be sure that we are in degree mode. There are two main ways to measure the degree. To measure the angle, and they are degrees and radians. So if we go to the mode, we will see the two ways, radians and degrees. By default, our calculator is set to be in radians. So originally, when we just bought the calculator, that's what it would be. And if I use the tangent of 30 radians, that would be very, very incorrect, because my angle is actually measured in degrees, so my answer will be completely wrong. So very important to use the correct measure. So now I am in degrees, and I can actually use the tangent of 30, and that's a decimal. So tangent of 30 is approximately 0.577 is x divided by 10. And so to solve for the x, all we need to do is multiply both sides by 10 to undo the division. And so our answer is approximately 5.77 foot. And that's the end of this example. Now, in the next example, we have a different trigonometric function. So here is a new example. And in this one, we have a 20-foot ladder. Sorry, let's move this a little bit more in the picture. So here we have a 20-foot ladder, It's leaning against the wall and makes 60 degrees with the ground. How far up the building does the ladder reach? So here is a different diagram, and we have the wall, the ladder, and it's some distance away from the building. Once again, we will make an assumption that the wall is actually perpendicular to the ground, so that the building is actually vertical. It's not the Leaning Tower of Pisa, it's actually precisely 90 degrees up. Now, the ladder itself is 20 foot, so this side is 20 foot. The angle that it makes with the ground is 60 degrees. And we are asked how far up the building does the ladder go. Now we have for this angle, this side is opposite and the longest is always hypotenuse. So which function connects the opposite with hypotenuse? Looking at our SOH, we see that the sine connects the opposite with hypotenuse. So that's a function to use. Let's go and use the sine. So now we have the sine of 60 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse. And once again, we go to the calculator and we type in the sine of 60 degrees and we get the decimal. All we need to do is multiply it by 20. So we have 0.866 is x divided by 20. Canceling the division, we multiply both sides by 20 and we are done. Now we just need to do this with a calculator, so we'll get the answer. 20 times 0.866 is approximately 17.32. So our answer is approximately 17.32 foot up the wall is our ladder. And that's it for this example. And these are the two typical questions that we might see in a trigonometry class that connects the three trigonometric functions. And that's all for this video. If you have any questions on anything, please let me know. Thanks for your time. Take care.